What's going on? You're listening to The Engine on YouTube. Johnny Fogel, Nick Freeman, Nick Falk. Haven't posted in a couple of days, but we're back with some more consistent content. We've got a new series for you. We're going to be going through the top 10 best NBA players at their specific positions. Today we're going to be doing point guards. Tomorrow we're going to be doing shooting guards. We've got our own individual list, and we've got a combined list that we came up with, averaged off of the individual list that I just mentioned a second ago. And, Nick Freeman, what else you got?
Yeah, to keep it consistent, we're using all the positions based off of Basketball Reference. So if you're not sure why a player is not here, he could be in the next list. We haven't done NBA in a while, so we're getting into this series, going to start making it more split between NBA or basketball and football. Also, starting it out, we're each going to do our personal list. We'll just run through that and then do our combined list, and that's where we'll bring the analysis player by player, talking about why we had them there pretty much. So start out, what was your 10?
And the list is based off of this season. It's not whether they're over their career or just if you're starting franchise. It's just how they've performed this season.
Yeah, so also guys like Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, even though they're great point guards, they've been injured for the majority of the season, so they're not on our list. It's just based on 2019 season and 2020 season production. Unfortunately, the season's probably over, so it's kind of an end-of-the-year recap.
Yeah.
Anyways, with that being said, I'm going to go first, and then Falk's going to go, and then Freeman's going to go. So here's my list for you from 10 to 1, or do we want to do 1 to 10?
Let's go 10 to 1.
All right, we're going to go 10 to 1. So with my 10th player, I got Kyle Lowry. 9th, I got Ben Simmons. 8, I have Damian Lillard. 7, I have Kemba Walker. 6, I have Trae Young. 5, I have Russell Westbrook. 4, Ja Morant. 3, Chris Paul. 2, LeBron James. 1, Luka Doncic.
Okay, so at 10, I have Ja Morant. At 9, I have Kemba Walker. At 8, I have Chris Paul. At 7, I have Russell Westbrook. At 6, I have Ben Simmons. At 5, I have Kyle Lowry. At 4, I have Trae Young. At 3, I have Damian Lillard. And 2 and 1 is Doncic and LeBron.
Yeah, for me, I got 10 Ja Morant, 9 Kemba Walker, 8 Kyle Lowry, 7 Chris Paul, 6 Trae Young, 5 Ben Simmons, 4 Damian Lillard, 3 Russell Westbrook, 2 Luka Doncic, and 1 the King LeBron James. So starting out at number 10 in our combined list, it was Kemba Walker from the Boston Celtics. At 9, Ja Morant. Or should we go through all of this or one at a time?
Let's go one at a time.
Okay, yeah. So we'll start out with those two guys. Kemba Walker and Ja Morant were neck and neck at the 10 and 9 spot, but Ja Morant edged him out because, as you saw, Johnny had him as like his number 4 point guard. What do you guys say about that?
What can I say? I'm a big Ja Morant fan. I have been for and I just think he's just one of those players. Like, he just does a lot more than I think. It just has to do with the fact that who's on Kemba Walker's team comparatively to who's on Ja Morant's team. And Ja Morant has a lot less support and a lot less experience than that of Kemba Walker, who's been to the playoffs, has Jason Tatum, has Jaylen Brown, has an experienced head coach. And I just find myself having not less respect, but I just admire the effort that Ja Morant has put in and has put a team that we predicted would finish bottom 3 in the West at our preseason rankings, and looks like they were about to make the playoffs if the season continued, but it didn't, obviously. I just have a lot of respect and admiration for a rookie doing that.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think 4 is definitely a reach for that because he is averaging about 17 points per game, which isn't too much compared to a lot of these other guys. He is carrying a really young team, but the Celtics have won a lot more games, and I'd say Kemba Walker, even though a little bit smaller, he's probably a little bit of a better defender. Ja Morant is definitely more dynamic, but I would choose Kemba just because, he's hit some clutch shots and he's led a better team so far this season.
Yeah, Ja's rookie of the year. Ja's rookie of the year. He's done an amazing job with the Grizzlies. Definitely one of the surprise teams in the NBA. But I think the respect I'm giving him is putting him at number 10. He's averaging 17-7 and 3.5 rookie. He's so dynamic and such a great explosive athlete. But still, I don't think you can have him. Like, Johnny, you had him above Russell Westbrook, Damian Lillard. I don't see that.
I can understand Damian Lillard, I think I snubbed Damian Lillard a little bit. So, but I think the thing with Russell Westbrook is, where would the Rockets be without Russell Westbrook? And I think, yes, this is one of Russell Westbrook's best seasons to date. But I think because of how well James Harden plays and how just well put together this team is, and just considering what they bring to the table year in and year out, was Russell Westbrook needed? I didn't like the trade to begin with. So I think Russell Westbrook's having an all-time year, but at the same time, I just think what Ja Morant is doing is more impressive because Russell Westbrook's doing it. He's not even driving the car. He's sitting in the passenger seat. So I just have to give Ja Morant like the edge on that one.
There's a huge difference between the Rockets and the Grizzlies, though. The Rockets have won. The Grizzlies are doing great, and they're pushing for a playoff spot, or they were pushing for a playoff spot. But the Rockets are what some people would consider contenders. So
I agree with you.
If he wasn't Russell Westbrook, this would be an MVP type season. People are just sick of him. But with 10-9, then Kemba Walker, he's putting up 28, 7 and 7. That's one MVP in past years.
I was about to say I wouldn't call it an MVP season just because there's a whole new age of basketball.
He's not next to Giannis, but
so he's definitely not in the MVP competition at all for me. But Russell Westbrook always gets shit on, but he's just a really good player.
Yeah. So back to Ja Morant and Kemba. Kemba was our number 10 overall. He's been slowing down a little recently. He hasn't had quite the scoring he's had in the past. But at the same time, the Celtics are one of the best teams in the NBA, and he's still a dynamic clutch player. I do think one of the reasons he's kind of slid down on most people's lists is Tatum's taken over the best player role on the Celtics.
That's what I'm saying,
least in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I think those guys are definitely pretty interchangeable. Next at 8, Kyle Lowry from the Raptors. So I had Lowry. I really am liking what he's doing this season. I had him at number 8 on my list, right where he belongs. He's just been such an amazing glue guy for this Raptors team. He's without Kawhi Leonard. They still have him at second in the East right now. He's putting up 28 and 5, which is one of his best statistical seasons. I really love what he brings defensively and as a leader.
Yeah. Johnny doesn't exactly like Kyle. And I can understand where you're coming from because when you're comparing him to guys like Ben Simmons and Damian Lillard and all these other guys, Russell Westbrook, you're like, why would you ever take Kyle Lowry, who's a 6-foot point guard?
Absolutely, and he's got a really ugly jumper.
Like, why would you ever take him above him? But my reasoning behind that is it's just this season, and I mean, no one could have predicted the Raptors doing this well this season, and Kyle Lowry's been, as Nick said, the glue holding them together, and he's also been one of his best box score years, despite not really having a great box score.
Yeah, so, him and Chris Paul. I had them both pretty high on my list. Just absolute incredible leaders.
Yeah, and he's such a pest on defense too. The feistiness compared to some of these other guys is something I really like, and the Raptors are winning because of him. That's why I have him above.
He's one of those guys who's for sure annoying to play against. You don't want to be playing against Kyle Lowry.
I think an argument could have been made, not actually, but like as a joke a little bit, that Pat Bev could have slid onto this list somehow, but like not actually.
He's a dog.
I absolutely love the guy. Like I absolutely love him. He just seems like a hilarious guy to play against. Not actually, it seems like awful to play against him, but just an argument could have been made like with those like Kyle Lowry, like with those like bulldog type annoying pest players. He's able to guard Kevin Durant. We've all seen the clips, but unbelievable.
Sorry, there were some technical difficulties there.
Supposedly guard Kevin Durant.
At least.
Supposedly guard Kevin Durant. So moving on, we got Ben Simmons at 7. We have Ben Simmons at 7.
I really like Ben Simmons. I had it in the highest out of anyone.
I like Ben Simmons a lot. I've made the claim in the past, technical difficulties a little bit, but I've made the claim in the past that I think Ben Simmons is whatever. I think Ben Simmons is a top 5 player in the paint, like in the NBA. He's unbelievable. He's almost unguardable inside the paint. I made a bold claim, I think back in October, that I thought Ben Simmons was better than Giannis at driving. I take that back now, obviously, but that's how good Ben Simmons is in the paint. I'm a Bucks fan. Okay?
Yeah,
it's my heart speaking.
What I was valuing with Ben Simmons is he's, I think, one of the only guys in the league. This gets tossed around a lot, but I think he's one of the only guys in the league who can actually guard 1 through 5.
Yeah.
He's, I think, leading the league in steals, the best defensive point guard in the league, and he actually can guard down there. Obviously, he has that shooting issue, but it's been seen, and he's still able to produce without it, put up all-star numbers. And I think what he brings on defensive, that's why I have him as a top 5 point guard over the other guys.
So I understand why I understand why you guys have him so high, and if I was starting a franchise,
Johnny has him at 9.
I have him at 9.
Yeah, everyone talks about this theme about getting Ben Simmons, surrounding him a shooter, trading Embiid. Ben Simmons is an amazing player. He's a potential candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. He's great in the paint, but he's just disappointed. I have him at 6, so I actually have him pretty high because I think he's so talented. But the Sixers are a 6 seed in the East, and
Exactly.
really have to play that.
Exactly.
He doesn't seem like he's someone who is carrying or leading these teams like some of these other guys on this list. And he's having a great year in the box score again, too. But, I just really haven't seen that improvement in shooting either. So that's really the main reason, even though I do think the specimen.
That's what I'm saying. I think John Morant, I value John Morant over Ben Simmons this year specifically because I assumed that the Sixers would be a higher playoff seed and they're the 6th seed, right? And I didn't think the Grizzlies were going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
Look where they are. That's what I'm saying. John Morant has nothing to work with.
I still think, though.
Ben Simmons has Al Horford, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, and himself, and then the 6th seed.
They've had a lot of injuries. Ben Simmons, his box score is much better than John Morant's, and you just have to look at John Morant's an okay defender. Ben Simmons is one of the best defenders in the NBA.
That's why I have Simmons so high. I think when you'll see in our centers episode, but Rudy Gobert, everyone has him as a top 5 center in the league.
Defensive
That's
player
kind of
of the
my
year,
equivalent
easily,
with Ben Simmons. Just because he's a first team Ben was a first team all defense, just an incredible lengthy guy. I think he's just such a great athlete that even though he doesn't have the jump shot or maybe not that leadership that some of these other guys have, that defensive side of the ball just brings him so high.
Yeah, just the lack of improvement is what bothers me. But yeah.
Okay. Number 6, a veteran, Chris Paul on the Oklahoma City Thunder. I've loved what he's done this year so much.
Yes, you do. You gotta.
Yeah.
I had him at number 3, and let me explain myself because Nick Falk is not giving him. Nick Falk is not giving him.
Takes are like.
Oh, I like Chris Paul.
Pretty good.
You are not giving him the credit he deserves. Neither of you guys
are.
You are sleeping on Chris Paul. Chris Paul at number 8 for Nick Falk,
but number 3
and Chris Paul at 7. Okay, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Okay. Where did we predict the Thunder would be at the end of 2020?
I predicted them really high. I like the Thunder going into the season. That's why Chris Paul, I understand your argument. He's pretty similar to John Morant. He's averaging 17 and 7.
This guy's a leader. Okay, he's doing everything for this Thunder team.
He's doing everything. That's why he's great. He's a really good player. It's just that he doesn't appear to me as a superstar. Him and Kyle Lowry.
He doesn't have to. See, that's the whole point with me. He doesn't have to be a superstar. He's 33, 34, right? Obviously, his best years are behind him, and he's still producing, and he's still putting teams into the playoffs.
Yeah.
We thought that he was going to die or on the Thunder team, he was just going to be done, or he was going to get traded to the Heat. It's the same thing with the Heat for me. Where did we think this team was going? And look where they are. He's easily a top 5.
I agree. Chris Paul is an amazing leader. He's done an amazing job with the Thunder, and he's one of the best closers in the NBA. Just such a great guy to have on this team. He's developing Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Dennis Schroeder. You love him. Such a great NBA. But come on, he's not getting 30 points a game. He's not Russell Westbrook. He's not Damian Lillard. I think number six on the overall is pretty good. He brings it defensively, but he just doesn't have those superstar capabilities the other guys have, except maybe leadership.
6 on the board is right where he should be. He should not be ahead of these superstar caliber players. Chris Paul is great at this point in his career. He's leading a Thunder team that had really low expectations going into the season. It's amazing what he's done, but he just doesn't have as much of an impact as some of these other guys.
All right.
Number 5, second-year player, Trae Young. He scores.
Yeah.
And he's amazing at it. He's getting almost 30 points a game. And he's
a
pretty
beast.
good playmaker. I think he doesn't do anything else, but
he's a beast.
Exactly. So
I think having Trae Young higher than Chris Paul and John Morant is honestly egregious to me. Trae Young's team is like the Hawks are not good. The Hawks are just not a good basketball team at all. And you're telling me that you think John Morant and Chris Paul are having a lesser season.
So for me, he's definitely over John Morant. He's averaging 28 points a game.
Okay, as an individual season, but like, look at where their teams are in comparison to each other.
Yeah, but
Trae Young, the Grizzlies have a better team. The Grizzlies do have a better supporting cast.
You're ripping on the Grizzlies. There's been tons of improvement for the Grizzlies. Brandon Clark, Jaren Jackson, they've gotten a lot more great players in the Grizzlies. I wouldn't say great, but good players in the Grizzlies. So compared to Trae Young is like lighting up the league and scoring for a long point. The only reason I don't have him higher is just because he's shown he's still a liability on defense. He hasn't made any improvement.
Complete liability.
Yeah.
But when you can score 30 a game like that and just shoot the ball from 30 feet away, you have to guard him like so tightly. He's such a defensive nightmare, like for the defense. So that's why I think he gets the spot. He was number 6 on mine, and he just scores the freaking basketball.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's an unbelievable player.
Yeah. We have a tie for number 3 on our list. I actually kind of agree with this. Russell Westbrook and Damian Lillard. You were low on both of them, Johnny. And
I was low on both of them.
Yeah, you gotta explain yourself on these.
I was sleeping on Damian Lillard. I guess I wasn't taking into consideration because, like what Falk said before the show, his whole team is hurt. Like, his whole team is 100% hurt. I like Damian Lillard a lot. It's just, honestly, I think if I could go back and make this list again, which maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I take John Morant and Chris Paul and Damian Lillard, and I put them in the same category. It's the same thing I've been saying for the past 15 minutes or whatever amount of time it's been. Look at what they have and look at where they are. That's my entire argument for you. Like, the thing with Russell Westbrook for me is he's not driving the car, okay? He's sitting in the car while James Harden drives it. Like,
I would disagree with that though. So,
I think James Harden
Westbrook has been driving the car a lot this season.
Yeah. There's been
not really. It's
for me.
They still have those games where Russell Westbrook has to carry.
Yeah, for the Rockets, it's one of them's taking a nap in the back of the car, and then the other one's driving. At some
they're taking turns. They're trucking.
Another thing
they're
is
taking turns.
To that logic, if you're saying Harden's taking points or scoring all these points, Westbrook's still almost averaging 30. So he's doing it with another guy, which might make it even more impressive.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have that Trae Young benefit of being able to shoot the ball 50 times a game.
And I don't think you can group Damian Lillard in the same group of Ja Morant and Chris Paul because the expectations have been higher from the Trailblazers. They have had a few injuries, but I think it's just that Damian Lillard is such a dynamic player. He has limitless range. He can dunk over people. He's a solid defender. He's really athletic.
Clutch as hell.
You are looking at 3 different age groups, though. You're looking at John Morant, who's like 19, 20 years old, and then you're looking at Chris Paul, who's 34, and then Damian Lillard's 26, 27. So I guess it's different. Like Chris Paul is obviously like less talented because he's older, obviously, and John Morant's still coming. John Morant's coming into his own, and Damian Lillard is in the prime of his career. So
also, none of these guys really play alike.
Close to 29, 30.
I don't understand how these 3 can be grouped. Like, Chris Paul's a defensive.
It's not about the playing styles, Nick.
Oh, a little bit of technical difficulties.
You got a little bit of technical
it's
difficulties.
About what they did with their team.
I think it's not about how they're playing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the way that I view their teams, I wasn't thinking that the Grizzlies were going to be in the playoff hunt. I wasn't thinking that the Thunder were going to be in the playoff hunt. That's what I'm saying.
But
okay.
I was thinking that about the Trailblazers. I'll give you that.
Ja and Chris
That
Paul
is fair, but Lillard scores the ball at another level.
Lillard's averaging like 28 and 8, and they're both averaging.
Yeah, he had that streak where he had like 5 straight 50-point games, or
that's
something.
True.
At least 5 straight 40-point games. He just went off at one point this season. I don't think any of the other guys up there could do that. And then let's finish it off. Been great this year. Number 2, Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks. He's averaging almost a triple-double, almost 30 points a game. An amazing second year. And number 1, LeBron James on the Lakers, who is now a point guard.
So Johnny, you got to explain yourself again.
Yeah, Johnny, how do you have Luka Doncic over one of the best players ever in LeBron James? I'm not going to hate. Luka's amazing.
I'm not giving hate to LeBron because I think, and this will be a future video. I promise that this will be a future video. That I think LeBron is the best player in the history of the game of basketball. Okay, but
It's debatable.
Michael Jordan's better, but we'll talk about that.
LeBron has another top 5 player on his team. Yes, he's leading the league in assists. I'll give you that. I know you were going there. You were obviously going to go there. He's leading the league in assists.
LeBron's leading the league in assists.
Look at Luka. Okay, Kristaps is. What is
Look at the
Kristaps done
Lakers.
this year? What is Kristaps done this year?
They're first. Kristaps has been good recently. He's been averaging in the 20s recently. He had a couple 30-point games a few weeks ago.
Anthony Davis,
pre-quarantine.
Have you seen Anthony Davis' stats when LeBron's not on the court? LeBron carries Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis can't do anything without LeBron.
Plus, he's 35 years old, playing point guard for this team. First in the West, leading the league in assists. He's never done that before. Still putting up 26 a game.
Luka is same argument. Luka's, how old is he? 21. He's almost averaging a triple-double with 30 points. Are you out of your mind? That is unbelievable.
They're like They're 6th in the West or 5th in the West.
He's no other support. He doesn't have another top 5 player in the NBA.
I also think the difference is that
they're 7th in the West.
I think the difference is when LeBron thinks it's go time, when there's 2 minutes left in the game.
There is nobody to stop him. I absolutely agree with you. Okay, a lot of times.
And he's proven that this season.
I absolutely agree with you. And a lot of times LeBron forgets that he's LeBron and that there isn't a single person on the earth who can stop him. Like, if he's going to the hoop, so few people can stop him, except Kawhi Leonard.
I
maybe
disagree. But Luka has been amazing this year. He's been definitely a top 10 player in the league. And he's been clutch. He's got that step-back jumper. He's not even athletic, and he's somehow one of the best athletes in the league.
How rare is it, Nick Freeman? How rare is it that we see a 20, 21-year-old in the MVP race, averaging 30 and almost a triple-double? How rare is that?
It's never been done. But
that's rare.
But being 35,
it's not LeBron.
Doing LeBron,
it's LeBron. It's LeBron. I expect it from him.
Both of them are one of a kind. But we have to talk about the athleticism and defensive gap.
If LeBron wanted to average 60 points a game, do you think he could do it? I 100% think he could do it. 1,000,000%. I totally think he could do it. I totally think he could do it. If he wanted to do it over like a 5-6 game stretch, he could 100% do it.
That's our 1-2. LeBron James, Luka Doncic. It's LeBron James, but Johnny thinks it's Luka Doncic. Anyway, thank you for listening to The Engine. We hope everyone's kind of enjoying their quarantine, feeling well. If you made it to this point, thank you for listening. We'll get our next 4 positional groups done this week.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay safe out there.